welcome to the Large Scale Live Show here with MrPictovid. Hey, that doesn't look like your studio. Where are you at?
Well, I'd say it was the green room, but the wall's not green. If you hang on, I can run to Home Depot and get some paint.
Oh, that sounds good. And with us is our guest, Charles Bartel, BTOC president. But before we get to Charles, we have a word from our sponsor who just happened to be at the East Coast Large Scale Train Show. So there's a word from our sponsor.
The following episode of Large Scale Consolidated Live is brought to you by Splitjaw, makers of quality metal products for the G-scale modeling world. For rail clamps, expansion joints, bridges, and more, Splitjaw Products has you covered. For more information, check out their website at www.railclamp.com.
And we are back. So let's try and welcome some people into the chat. So we have Dominic Maletta. He's been trying to get into the chat for a while, but he's figured out a way in. So welcome aboard, Dominic. Glad to have you. We have Stay Loaded. Next Crossing was in here. Bruce Morrill. And then we have Kyle Kuiper. And scrolling down here, Canadian Railroads. Brian Brune. And sorry if I screwed up your name. Everybody knows I'm on name record. Speaking of name records, John Simkovich or Simkovich. So sorry, John. If you were at the show, maybe you could tell me how to say your name correctly.
Yeah, see, it's all John the French Canadian's fault.
Yeah, exactly. James Catlin and Mike Telge. Sorry, again, I'm not good with some of these names. The Infinity Hobbies Channel, Steve Junks, and so I'm on a sugar rush right now, trying to get through this show because I am a little tired out. And then we have Mikey 45013 going through. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. And Mike Lawrence, Larry Otis. There you go. Weren't you and Larry Otis going back and forth about something? And then Timothy Kennard, Scott V, John Molesworth, Joseph Lipinski. Yeah, so we have Mike Bartel. So we have quite a crew with us tonight. Welcome aboard. And we'll go ahead and go to our guest, Charles Bartel, BTOC president. And how did you want to work this there, Andrew?
9 to 5, Monday through Friday, usually.
Oh, no, that's not available. You're on night shift.
Well, obviously, I'm not sitting at my desk, so things may not run 100% like they usually do, but I'm still at the hotel because Sean and I went to the
East Coast
Large Scale Train Show, which Charles happened to be at as well. And he said, hey, how about we just go to the same room and do it? And I said, works for me.
Definitely.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Charles. Like Sean always likes to ask, what got you into the hobby?
There you go.
Okay, so I got into the hobby 77 years ago when my grandfather bought me a Lionel O-gauge pre-World War II train.
Wow.
Dad was still in Europe, and Mom and I were living at my grandparents' house. Brought the train home, and they set it up on the dining room table. And that started a hobby that has existed my whole life, literally. We went to no scale. I got married. First thing my wife did the very first Christmas was she bought me a Varney train set, HO. And we've moved from Columbus, Ohio, where we were married. We went to Fort Wayne, went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and finally to Buffalo, New York. And that little train set was all over the place, including a minor layout done under the bed, so we could roll it out in the apartment. That worked
Wow.
fine until the bed collapsed.
That'd be convenient in a hotel, like if you had a portable layout, like you have the roll-away beds. You got roll-away layouts,
That was the concept, and we had it under the bed, and literally one of the boards holding up the mattress broke, and the bed dropped down on top of my layout. That
Wow.
was of under the bed. But,
Larry was asking if they had electricity back then.
Actually, what I had was my wife out and back on a bicycle pedaling with a generator connected to it, so we had electricity.
I see this Taya person in the chat. Didn't we just kick someone out of this room by that name?
Yeah, since this is her room. So the bottom line is I've grown up with O-scale, HO, dabbled a real little bit in N, and about 10 years or so ago, one of the directors of the BTO, Rich Dulski, invited me to come to Hershey, Pennsylvania, to come to the convention. And as the saying goes, there went the bank account. We went to the convention, my wife and I, and people, they welcomed us with open arms. It was like we were old lost friends.
Wow.
They had train layouts running out in the front of the hotel. Marshall Adams was the convention chair at the time, and he had train layouts all over that hotel. And then we did, we started doing train tours, riding on trains. And so the hobby's grown to the point now where we have a little room to live, and the rest of the room in the house is filled with stored trains. And we've got a ditch in the backyard that I hope this summer to get some track down and actually be able to run a train outside instead of just saying I have a ditch. So that's and from a professional standpoint, I was an electrical engineer by trade, and I ended up working for a company in East Aurora, New York, selling motion bases into the entertainment marketplace. And from that, I got backstage at Disney. I talked to the guy that really implemented the Disney Steam program.
Wow.
He was telling me about the train that he put in down in Disney World at Animal Kingdom, and how he had to track that engine down over in Africa. And I'm all hyped up. He's got a real live steam engine he got from Africa. And so the first time we went there to Animal Kingdom, I had to go back and see the train. He took all the steam guts out of it and put a gasoline engine in it.
Ooh.
The next time I went out to Disney, I was fuming with this guy because I was looking for an African steam engine, and I got an American Pratt & Whitney gas engine to drive the thing. But the bottom line is I got backstage. I got to see the place where they take care of the steam engines at Disney and talk to the people that put it together. And so it's been a lifelong passion that my company actually was able to kind of support with trips to various places. There are a few stories around Moog about wild trips going with the program manager, Charles, who suddenly saw steam coming up the side of a mountain and darn near ran the car off the side of the mountain trying to find where the steam was coming from. Turned out to be a steam train, some tourist train I didn't know anything about. So that's my life. I look for steam trains when I'm traveling and model at home, and recently got into 3D printing in order to put things on the layout that nobody else has.
Oh, okay. And tell us a little bit about the BTO and what they're about.
BTO, it's the BTOC. The BTO is the magazine that we publish 4 times a year.
Okay.
The magazine is literally filled with, Andrew's got some copies here. It's filled with pictures that are submitted by club members of their layouts or of layouts that they visited. In the winter issue, Bob puts out a calendar with club members' pictures that they sent in. And then once a year, we have a convention. The convention has ranged all over the country over the years. This year, we're going to be at Mystic, Connecticut. Last year, we were at Cleveland. We were at Plymouth, in White Mountain, LaPorte, Indiana. Generally, we go someplace where there are some interesting trains to ride, some museums type of thing. So during the day, we try to go visit these museums, take a ride on a local train. And then in the evening, we have trivia contest. Usually there's 4 people a night, and we do it for 4 nights. And then the 5th night is the banquet. And that's where they have the final test, if you will, of the winners of the first 4 nights. They all meet together, and we pick the best trivia champion for the week. We've got wine and cheese for the women. I like to say the wine and cheese is hosted by Tia Capel-Woods, one of our directors, and all of the guys go down to the bar and tell tall tales and swap train stories, if you will, and brag about that last engine they just bought that their wife doesn't know about. We have ice cream socials. We've got an all-aboard party at the front end to tell people what's going on for the week. And then at the end of the week, we have a nice farewell banquet. We have had historical enactors come and do a small presentation sometimes. Other times it's a whole lot of just people presenting things and telling stories and fellowship. And I guess of everything I'm trying to say, the thing that's most important to me about this club is its fellowship. It's I don't care if you're a 1-year-old member or you're a 10-year-old member, everybody's treated the same. And how are you? And what do you do? And how do you do this? Sharing information. We had a couple that to my local club in Buffalo. We, just like Rich got me to come to the convention, I got them to come to the convention. And Judy and Gary are kind of quiet people. They don't get out a whole lot and mix in new stuff. And Judy kept saying, well, we won't know anybody. And my wife said, but you'll know us. So they came, and they had dinner with us on the first night at the all aboard party. That's the last time we saw them.
Wow.
They immediately fell into a whole bunch of people that had the same type of interest, kids the same age, whatever it be. And they developed a rapport with these people. When we got back from it was a White Mountain resort there. When we got back from that, Gary called me up and he says, Charles, you can't believe this. Judy's already gotten the encyclopedia out to look up where LaPorte, Indiana is, because we're going. So that's to me, that's the best thing in the world you can say, is that they felt so comfortable that they wanted to come back. And that's just the way it is.
And John Simkovich is asking, how much is dues are for the group?
Dues are $50 a year. That basically covers the magazine and the rest of the stuff that goes out.
And the magazine is a quarterly, right?
It's quarterly. It comes out quarterly. The other thing that we do is as a member, we offer cars throughout the year, various cars. You took a very good picture this noon at the live presentation you did when you went by the BTO booth, and you zeroed in on a blue center beam car. It said Mystic on it. And then over on the corner of the table, there was an orange car. So this year we had an orange, and you've got it up there. We had an orange and blue car set. There was also a couple cars on the table that were veterans cars, honoring the veterans.
They came out really nice. I wanted to tell you that.
There's that one.
I have to give Bob Samoji, who was our editor, I have to give him credit for the artwork. He does a fabulous job for us.
Now, are these cars in limited numbers? Is there a limited production on them?
There's a limited production run. Generally, it's 50 cars, and that's it. Things will probably change over time. We all know that model companies are dropping out. Heartland has gone away.
Yeah.
The minimum runs have gone up.
Yep.
And, so we're looking at how do we address all of that. We would never go above 100 cars in a single order. Not unless via this podcast we got a whole lot of new members that buy cars, then we might up the number. But right now it's usually a 50 car run. And like I said, this Veterans Day car up there with that eagle, it's a fabulous set of artwork.
Yeah.
USA Trains, Charlie Rowe there has been a fantastic supporter of doing cars like this. We've done some cars with Pico. Heartland was fantastic. One of the things that we do at the convention, and I've told people today, I've told people for the last year, since last August, I didn't know I had so many women in the club that like to bet. So one of the things we do is have drag races. We take a hallway in the hotel and put down about 60, 70 feet of track, 2 tracks parallel, and we put engines at the beginning of the track, and we put somebody at the other end to be the judge of which car or which train gets down there first. And Scott Fowler rigs up a single switch to start both engines, and down the tracks they go. In Cleveland, we had these people all lined up one side of the hall. The trains were on the other side of the hall. And these people were jumping up and down and go, oh, faster. I didn't know that people talked to Mack engines like that. It was fabulous. The issue that we had is that the Macks are so fast that if you had any other club engine, they lost right away. So we've had 2 drag races, one for Mack engines and then one for any of the other club engines that have been purchased over the years. They go a little slower. Before I joined the club, I understand that somebody took an engine and put a rocket on it. And when it went off, they raced down the track with the rocket. The problem was it didn't stop at the end of the track and kept right on going. So now we have a limitation. You can't put rockets on the train. They have to be factory the way they were. No fine tuning, no hyping them up and that type of thing. It's just stock as Heartland or aristo-craft or US or whoever delivered it. That's what you race. And it becomes a lot of fun. One of the things that we did back, this is the 44th convention in Mystic. At the 40th convention, we were at Bird in Hand, Pennsylvania. And any of you folks that are familiar with the area, Bird in Hand is a nice resort. And one of the things it has is a very large farm pond. We put a track all the way around that farm pond.
Wow.
That track was so long that those of us that were running Revolution, well, for that matter, any of the radio controls, when we were up the pavilion where we put the trains on the track, the trains went into dark territory. You couldn't control the trains. They were out of the range of the Revolution.
Right.
And that led to some interesting events, if you will. John Molesworth and Tia, they had a small problem with 2 trains meeting in the dark. We had to do an accident investigation, and John and Tia had to submit to alcohol testing and drug testing. We determined that there was no engineering malfunction, that there literally was just an accident. But, we had to go through the full event to make sure nobody was slipping drugs into the club someplace. Right. But that was fun. And the interesting thing, obviously, one of the things we want to do is get young people involved in the trains and to get adults aware of how great this hobby is and what it's all about. Yeah. And when we put this track around that pond, one of the things that happened was they had a little ice cream stand there, and people from all over the area would come and they'd have ice cream. And here we are down there by the pond running trains. And so here they come with their ice cream cones or their sundae, whatever it was, and sat there and watched trains. There was a walking path around the pond, and some people actually followed the train around. There were a couple. Well, Gary, the one I said that we invited to the convention, and now he's come back. He had one of his trains there. Him and I both have. At that time, I had knee problems. He has his own physical limitations, and after you walk around that pond once or twice, you're tired. Okay, just plain tired. And so there were some young children, young men, young girls walking around the thing, and Gary turned to the one and said, "Are you going to walk around the pond?" "Oh yeah." "Here," and handed him his Revolution controller. It says, "This button blows the horn. This is the bell. This speeds it up, slows it down. Don't hit anybody. Give it to me when you come back." We handed the controls off to 2 or 3 kids, and you should have seen their eyes lit up like silver dollars. And I can control a train. They'd never seen anything like that. You know, some of these kids this was their first introduction to model trains. And that's what makes the club so great, is that opportunity to share the love of what we do with anybody else that we can corner and browbeat them with our enthusiasm, if you will. I don't know how else to say it. It's a fabulous group.
And how many members are there right now?
Right now we're at about 290, 93, something like that.
I'm the latest one, right?
You are the latest new member. Yes.
There we go.
We have added, I think, in the last month, we've added, I think, 3 or 4 new people that have come in. So,
and I wanted to say real quick that, you know, like I said, it's what, $50 a year for the membership. I want to say within like 3 days of submitting it online, I got a nice priority mail envelope from them. And, you know, they have a quarterly magazine, but not only did they send me the current quarterly one, but they sent me the one from the end of the year that also had their nice calendar in it. And on top of that, I got a nice welcome letter. I got registration forms for the convention, for the cars, for their T-shirts, all included in there. And I'm also official. I got a certificate. I mean, I know I'm certifiable, but
well, we'll take certifiable as long as it's certifiable in trains.
But the point I wanted to get across is that, you know, that was pretty phenomenal to me. I figured like maybe in a month I would see something, and you know, okay, maybe it's just going to be a magazine, and you know, you guys had a very nice personal touch to anybody that joins. It's very nice to see.
Dave Snow, who sent you this package, is our membership chairman, and he takes his membership role very personal. He does a good job with contacting members, letting them know in advance when their dues are due. You don't have to wonder, see, did I pay? Haven't I paid? I mean, Dave is good at letting you know. John Grote, who is our treasurer, he's also our webmaster. If anybody's been out on the web and looked at the stuff out there, John is our treasurer, and he's very, very responsive to when people order something. He works with you. You can order something and he'll send an invoice if you want to pay by credit card or PayPal. Send him a check. Him and Dave Snow work together very, very closely. So you sent your check in to Dave Snow. He let John know right away that he had the money for you.
I didn't even have to send the check in. I was able to pay right on the website.
That's John Grote that has set up the credit card capability. So I have a very good board that works hard to make sure that members are taken care of and that you get the services that we want you to have. Scott Fowler is the convention chair for this chair, and him and John Molesworth, Larry Otis, Rich Cruz, all part of a convention committee trying to put something together that people are going to have fun with.
I agree.
We want to be a professional organization, but not the white shirt and tie type of thing and very stuffy. We want to be the slacks and the tennis shoes and the club T-shirt. For every convention, we put a T-shirt out, and again, Bob Samoji does a great job with artwork. We put out a T-shirt for that convention. This year, there's a couple T-shirts out because we were originally going to go 2 years ago to St. Louis. Well, COVID hit us for the first time in 43 years. The convention had to be canceled because everybody's on lockdown. We went on to Cleveland the next year, which had already been set up. And then we decided, okay, now we'll go back to St. Louis. And they had all agreed to move forward. Unfortunately, some of the venues that we wanted had closed and they weren't available. So we ended up having to do a reverse in the middle of the planning stage and go to Mystic. It really is a rough road to travel to get everything together, and all of the people on the convention committee and on the board work very hard to pick things out that people like and go to areas where people can travel to. So I think the members on my board do a fantastic job of interfacing with members and with the public in general.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
And
my first experience with anybody from the club was with Taya, and
she's a ball of fire.
I'll tell you what, if she doesn't win you over with her personality, she does with her love of trains.
Oh, yes.
I mean, if I have to be honest, because I really didn't know anybody else in the organization, if any reason I joined, it was just because of my interaction with her. Now that I've gotten to meet you, you're pretty amazing in your own right.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to give credit to her where it's due. That
she's a great ambassador for the club. There's no two ways about it. She knows lots of people, more than I know, that's for sure. And she spreads the word, and that's the thing to do.
And I'm not saying that just because she knows where I'm sleeping.
And she's also listening with my wife in the other hotel room.
Yeah. Is that door locked?
Make sure it's locked so she doesn't. So one of the other things that I'll touch on, because it's one of the greater items. We have a program called the Al Lentz Award Program. It's a modeling program, and people do models, and then they bring them to the convention and put them on the table, and then everybody at the convention votes on which model they think is the best that's been presented. And so over the years, we've seen.
Hold on, guys. I got to interrupt. There's a low battery.
Oh, hang on.
We just lost the screen, so.
You can hear me though?
I hear you, but I don't have the picture.
Well, I'm saving you from having to see me, I guess. Hang on.
Sorry for the interruption, but it came up low battery. I was trying to catch it before it died.
I'm going to blame the cat, Sean. Can I take the cat for this one?
No, because the cat didn't travel with you this time.
I knew I should have brought the cat with me.
And while we're waiting, as Andrew put down at the bottom, we will be giving away a gift card from Reindeer Pass Railroad. So make sure you stay tuned if you want to be part of that. And the only way you're going to win is you got to be in the chat. You got to stay up. Stay with us. So. And we'll see if Nico gets robbed again. Matter of fact, I haven't seen Nico in the chat yet.
He might be driving still.
Still?
He may not realize I robbed him when we went to dinner.
Oh. Well, that's all right. He got robbed enough this weekend.
Let's see.
Larry says his cat is yelling at him.
All right, let's see if we get the camera back here.
Oh, Larry, not that kind of robbed. He was robbed, but not in a bad way robbed.
There you go.
All right.
There you are.
We are There we go. So we're plugged in, and I'm going to knock the laptop over next.
So as I was saying before we had this technical interruption here, we have this L Lens Award, which it acknowledges somebody at the convention that has brought a model in that they've done of something unique. And there's been everything, some dioramas of a sighting. There's been buildings brought in. I saw a caboose completely detailed inside. Beautiful work. In the last three or four conventions, we've had a clinic. And that's the other thing that we try to do is have clinics at the conventions that are relative to the hobby in some way. We've had 3 clinics in 3 consecutive of the conventions on 3D printing. 3D printing allows people to generate a model of something either unique in your community or something out of your imagination that you want to put on your layout that makes you completely unique. And actually out on our website, John Grote has posted, I think it's 5 sessions now of 3D modeling, complete with the G codes that somebody that has a 3D printer can put those G codes in and make whatever is talked about in that presentation. The effort here is to expand the hobby and show people that 3D printing is not something that's only utilized by professional draftsmen and designers, but there are various programs out there that we as individual modelers can get. I personally use a program called 3D Builder, part of the Microsoft package. And it's the last magazine, and I think it's out on the website too, is a picture of the building that I did last year that won first place. That's a complete chemical processing plant, if you will. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
I'll say we can take a look at that. So as I'm getting up to rotate this camera, do you want to fill them in a little bit more on it?
Okay, so this particular model that I brought to show here tonight, everything in it has been 3D printed except for the one large, shall we say, retort tower. I'll get up and point to it so everybody knows this tower here. Oh, can't look at the TV. I gotta look at your screen.
Oh, sorry.
This was a Harry shaving cream can. And then we 3D printed some rings around it so it looks like it's plate metal to put together to make the item. Everything else in here, okay, now can you see that? Everything else in here has been 3D printed, and you can see in the windows here a little bit, not only is the outside done, the inside has telephones and books and file cabinets and desks and chairs. Downstairs, there's compressors, electric motors, anything that you would find that would need maintenance in some type of a chemical processing plant.
Let's see if I can move a little
Going
bit
to try to
closer.
zero in a little better.
Yeah, let's see if we can look inside the windows there, because that's some great detail inside of it.
So this is my contribution to our club website, if you will, to try to help people understand that 3D printing is something that they can use to add tremendous detail without spending a whole lot of money. Of course, I say without spending a whole lot of money, you got to buy the printer first, of course, but the actual printing of the product is not near as expensive as going out and buying a building like this at a hobby shop. And they're LED lights inside. And that's the other thing we try to talk about at the BTO conventions is different technologies that you can use, ways to do different lighting, sequencing of lighting and the layout to give you a 24-hour look, if you will. All of the things that help to expand the hobby and make it great.
Now, like you said before, everything
here has
other
been
than
printed.
this. So, did you want to rotate this at all? See if maybe you can show a little bit more to people here.
So the building on the corner here, if this was a real facility, the idea is that this is the pump mix house where chemicals are brought together, mixed, heated, what have you. The idea of the tank over here was something where you'd have some reaction going on and you don't want it in the building. So if it blows up or leaks, it doesn't contaminate the building. Some cooling things up on top. And then the building over here would be the pump house that would take chemicals that would be delivered by a tank car over here on the siding or delivered via truck and come into here. It's a 2-story building with pumps on both sides. The unfortunate thing, there should be I-beams coming out of here so that you would have overhead conveyors on it. In moving this from my house to Cleveland and then back and then here, I've managed to break off those little beams out there.
That's what you have down here, right?
Yes, just what's down here. There were those above each of these doors so you could move heavy pumps and things into the building.
I got a question. One of the viewers is asking if it's resin or FDM.
It's PLA filament printing. It's not resin printing.
Yeah, not resin.
Okay.
And the interesting thing, so this particular unit, this is one that I took some spare parts off. I took spare parts off of it and made up something that might be really dangerous. You want away from the rest of the facility. And I finished this portion of it just a couple weeks ago. It's taken me about 2.5 years to put this together. And when I look at this now, I can see that over 2.5 years, how I've progressed in my abilities to program. So, Andrew, you want to tip it just a little bit. Okay. Now, if you look up here at the top, the very top grid, and actually the one down here, I thought that was a fantastic grid when I first did it. And then I painted it yellow, so it was safety type of thing. Since I've done those, I've learned how to do much smaller grid work. So the middle platform is much more realistic than the top and the bottom one is. It's closer together. A man's foot wouldn't fall through the hole anymore. The other side of the coin is I figured out how to make this portion, the grid itself is a separate piece.
Oh, nice.
So, and it's yellow PLA. Can't get my finger there. I can think it's back. It's yellow PLA, so I didn't have to paint it. So it shines much better than the other. Now I'll paint it with black and brown to show dirt type of stuff.
Okay.
But the point I'm making is that you start with this and you learn, and it's not that difficult. You look at the brickwork on the building and the brickwork here, and that's how far that I progressed in learning how to print out bricks.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
So these are things, and I've tried to share this out on the web. I got it. I've tried to share it out on the web. John has posted the articles that I've written. And like I said, we put the G code out there so people, if they're interested, they have a printer, they can go ahead and use the G code and print it. And I think I've also put the STL code out there. So if they want to modify it.
Try a little bit more to see the design.
Also, one of the viewers said that Dominic said he worked for DuPont for 45 years, and he said, you nailed it. Great job.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
And before anybody asks, we're not doing a hashtag chemical plant giveaway.
No, I'm not giving this away. Sorry.
But before John Sinkovich says hashtag chemical plant, no.
These tanks were printed, and they're printed. One of them, I call this BLB Solutions, which is actually in honor of my wife, Bonnie Lee Bartel. So one tank is BLB Solutions, and another is a different chemical, and I've got them labeled on there. This has to be finished yet with pipes that will come into the building here. But the whole idea was this was a storage of chemicals coming in, product going out. And then I've got a couple of standpipes here. And then there's a couple pipes. And I actually made them so that they will actually plug into these holes here. If anybody ever wanted to try to simulate it on loading a car. And I've got the valves on them to open and close them type of thing. And then over here on the far corner, the other thing to note, by the way, this building was done from the standpoint of OSHA. So this wall over here has stairs that come from the first floor up to the top. You notice there's no windows on this side of the building. You would not have windows next to the stairwell that's used for an escape from a building. Okay. On this side that was next to the pump house over here and the mix station, there's no windows. Once again, I'm synthesizing maybe this tank might have some caustic material in it that you worry about contaminating, going through a window and hurting somebody. So that wall is completely blank. So the only walls that have windows, they face away from anything that's dangerous. This was meant to be like a gas building where the pipes would come in from the gas company and have valving inside, and then would send it out of there to the facility. And then the guy who's running a program for our club says, here are the things that I want you to incorporate it. These two things are CO2 cans. Out of, I think it's out of a drink thing, some soda thing that a restaurant gave him a bunch of these cans. So I made them just as two more facilities that are doing some type of chemical processing. And this actually was a model of a relay building next to a railroad crossing. And I just added the pipes to it to make it a gas type pump. The G code for this is out on the web so that people could actually print that if they wanted.
This screen here was part of a modeling contest,
Yeah,
right?
the screen was part of the required modeling.
Nice.
So these are the types of things that get done within the club, and we try to share within the club of the things that we've done. I want other people to be able to do the same thing and share what they have, what they think are the best things. Yeah, but it's swinging around so we get off the court. And the other we didn't talk about, we had one other requirement when I started this into the contest, and that was another screen. And it was late when I got the requirement. So I said, okay, what am I going to do with this last screen? And so down here, there's a little box like it's a heater box with LEDs behind it. You can see it there behind the tank. So again, I've got pipes coming in and coming out of there to represent some type of a chemical process. So
you can see glowing red down there.
It's glowing red because it's got a section of LEDs in it to make it seem like it's a heater element, maybe an open flame. I'll leave that to the imagination of the person looking at it, what they think. I mean, isn't that what part of our model railroading is?
Absolutely.
Imagine yourself down into, now in the window you're looking at is the control room for the pump house. And inside of there's actually a control panel, and you'll see little red lights for indicators on the pumps.
I don't know if I can look in there now. Let's see.
And John said that Andrew, you are no longer the newest member of the BTOC group.
John, you had to steal my thunder, didn't you? So I know it's probably not the best you can see in there, but it's actually little red LED lights in there. And actually, the thing that just caught my attention is the pipes coming out underneath the window.
The water bibs.
Yeah.
Well, again, what industrial building don't you go through that has water bibs outside for the fire department to connect to the fire alarm system? So I tried to put those fire bibs on the front of the buildings. Again, the whole idea, I'm in the model railroading. I like to make it as realistic as I can. And those are the types of things you'd see on a building. So that's what I've incorporated. And that's what we put out on the website for people to look at and see how it was done.
Very nice. I mean, not too many people go through all the trouble of, and I'm sorry, I wish I could show you better inside of the building, but I mean, stop looking at my thin hair on top, everybody. I mean, you got a desk chairs, you got a phone on the desk in there.
There's some books, tables.
I mean,
There's 2 sets of filing filing cabinets would have big drawings in them. So there's big filing cabinets upstairs, and then there's smaller ones like you'd find in a normal office. I've tried to make it realistic so that when people see it on the layout, they literally could relate to it. And
I was going to look and see if maybe I'll plug this cord in here so I can get a little bit closer. Maybe we can see in there better.
John Molesworth says, "Well done, Charles."
thank you, John.
So yeah, that might work better. So
Brian Brune says he'll be signing up for a membership tomorrow.
Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you in Mystic. You can see the filing cabinets there in the back against the ball.
Yeah.
In there.
Some people in there. And
I see the stairs.
Well, you actually I didn't even realize you put the stairs in there.
Oh, yeah, the stairs are in there. And what's happened is those red LEDs were supposed to be in the ceiling and they've fallen down.
That sounds like a safety issue.
It is. I've got to talk to the building engineer and have him fix the emergency lights.
Yeah, there's one thing I was talking about. You know, he's even got phones on the desks. If we come down here and look at the lower floor.
Wow.
And of course, as you were saying, the stairs, you can see the stairs in there. But I'll come over here so you can see what he was talking about over on this side.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
I mean,
The white lights you see there on the left side, those are to represent like flow meters.
Okay.
And then since I got the camera down here,
You can see the little red lights next to the controls for the pumps.
and there's the heater piece he was talking about earlier. You can see a little bit better there.
Oh yes.
And so
Can you see in that one window on the side? You can actually see piping and tanks inside that building. Look in this way. The window right next where you were looking at on the pump house where you were looking at the fire.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that one. Let's see.
That's for the guy who's willing to crane his neck a little bit to look inside.
Attention to detail is everywhere.
And John Molesworth was asking, is that a copy of the BTO on the table inside?
You got it.
Oh, wow. You talk about going the extra mile there.
You know, these are the things that people do in the club that we like to share. I mean, I'm not the only one. People have brought stuff for the Al Lentz Awards, and I look at it and I drool. I'm not capable of doing some of the landscaping that I've seen in some of the Al Lentz models. The club is just filled with people that have fantastic skills, and nobody will sit there closed mouth. We all want to talk about what we've done, and we'd like to share what we've done with others so that they can have the same pleasure that we've had. To me, that's what the club is all about. It's all about fellowship and sharing and just plain the love of making models.
All right. I'm going to sneak past here real quick.
Of course, I have to admit now, I'm not totally realistic because I really support my wife, who now I think is up to 24 or 25 egg liners. And sometimes when we go to shows, the only train we bring is her egg liner with the Ugo horn in it. It's got revolution and a battery, so she can run around the track and hit an Ugo horn next to the kids, and the kids jump a mile when that happens. They've never seen anything. What's that? What's that? And of course, the parents have never seen an egg liner since it doesn't exist in reality. And you see them kind of tongue-tied, like they don't know what to tell their child. And then my wife blows the Ugo horn and rings the bell. So we have a lot of fun with the trains. Not only are we serious, but we have fun with them.
So my wife has 4 of them. I thought that was a lot.
Oh, no, no.
Hopefully my wife went to bed. I don't understand. Why did you get more stuff and I didn't get more egg liners at the East Coast show? I don't know.
She just bought the police egg liner today. We have a grandson who's a correction officer, and we think he's going to apply to the sheriff's department for a transfer. So she got a police egg liner to honor the grandson and what he does.
Did you see the school bus egg liner?
Actually, I have a brother who's a school bus, and it was by the school bus one or by the police one. And my brother's close to us, but my grandson's probably just a little closer to us since we had a lot to do with raising him in the local area. So I'm guessing maybe next year we'll buy the school bus.
Yeah, Brian is saying about, sounds like his 60-car Heartland train. If you get a chance to go to the RLD Hobby Open House when Brian's there, it's a sight to be seen. You usually don't see a 60-car Heartland train with the little 2-axle cars.
No, and those are neat cars.
Which that's a manufacturer that I believe we lost not too recently.
We lost to Heartland Manufacturing, Heartland Locomotive Works, a little over a year and a half ago now. We will be handing as part of the registration at Mystic. I think it's the first 50 people that register, they get a free car, and it's the last of the Heartland cars that have been manufactured.
Oh, okay.
So their last production run was for the BTO.
Let's see.
Wow.
Anything else about it that we haven't covered yet?
Oh boy, let's see here.
We ride trains, and when I say we ride trains, not only do we ride full-size trains, we've also gone off and ridden the 7.5-inch gauge live steam, quote unquote, and we've had a blast with that. We did it in Cleveland. There's a live steam group on a county park out there. It was fantastic. They actually parallel a full-size railroad, and the two trains trade horns when they're traveling side by side. Of course, the big boy outgrows the other one.
I was going to see.
I think that's White Mountain.
There we go. I can play. I was going to see if there was a full screen. Let's see here. Let me share this.
We did when we did the 40th. One of the things that we did that Marshall did a great job in finding things to do. We rode a steam into history train, and when you ride that train, they generally have some historical character that comes with you from past history, and while you're on the train, he tells the story.
Oh, nice.
And we were fortunate to have General Lee and his wife was our guest on that train, Steam into History. Of course, everybody says, "Oh, General Lee, he was a military leader for the South, and we beat him." But I've been told that General Lee, when he was at West Point, when he was the commandant of West Point, he taught some classes. Now that's a train that was around an outside area at the White Mountain Resort. It was a great big loop, probably a quarter the size of a football field, that we had a train running around the outside.
Oh, wow.
So General Lee talked about his time at West Point, the things he did at West Point, the fact that his kids also graduated from West Point.
Well, that's kind of a neat display there.
Again, that's Marshall Adams that did that. He always has a display set up. We ran one of the displays so much we were embarrassed. They had a white tablecloth, and when we took the train off, there was a black circle that was permanently embedded into the tablecloth.
I'm kind of curious, like what diameter that inner circle of track is.
It's tight.
I'm like,
it's tight.
Wow.
It's the smallest radius that Heartland had. That was one of the layouts. That's John Molesworth's layout that he put together, and ran a lot of his trains, ran some other club members' trains on it. And those trains run as soon as we're through outside and people are back in, the convention room opens up, these trains run. My wife has made the comment she doesn't quite understand the enjoyment we get out of watching trains go in a circle, and yet we put chairs up and people just sit there and stare at the trains going in a circle. It's a fantastic to me to watch the trains go around.
That's Sean's kind of train right there, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
My wife and I are Coca-Cola fiends too, so we've got some of those Coke trains. Now in the back there, behind the Coca-Cola trains, the blue cars, those were BTO cars.
And actually, that's something that's kind of interesting. I was looking at was you actually have photos of all the different convention cars, I believe, that you've done over the years.
I think we've got most.
1979. What is that when the club started?
The club is 44 years old this year.
And that's actually something too that I didn't realize originally was it didn't start as the big train operators.
No,
club,
it
correct?
started as the LGB. Well, it started as the story has been told to me, and that I have some documentation on. Al Lenz bought a G-scale train, and I've heard various stories about he bought it, and his wife wanted to know why he was spending money on trains, or why should he have done that. But he did it, and he got it home and realized all the instructions was in German. And so he kind of put out the word that, hey, does anybody out there understand or read German and can help me with this? And that kind of led to the first gathering and the first newsletter that started to go out about the LGB trains. LGB got in contact, or they got in contact with the club and became the LGB Club of America. And through the club, people could buy special cars at a discount straight to the LGB. And executive members of LGB organization actually came over, attended the convention. This was long before my time, so I can't really tell you who all the people were that came. But LGB was heavily invested in our club and getting it going. And the membership was up in the hundreds, not just a couple hundred, but up in several hundred type of thing. And they reached a point where LGB kind of got in its own turmoil, and a lot of things went on that are all gray in history as far as I'm concerned. I don't really care. But at that stage of the game, there was kind of a parting of the ways. And instead of becoming the LGB Club, we became the Big Train Operators Club. That published the BTO. So today we don't have a corporate sponsor, quote unquote, like LGB was back in those days, but we have a lot of support from PICO, from USA Trains, from LGB. Splitjaw has provided some prizes for our raffles, that type of thing. So we kind of tap on all of the manufacturers out there. We thank them greatly for the support they've given us. And we've tried to bring people in from those organizations to talk about the trains, how to maintain them, how they make them, that type of thing. So we get the manufacturers and the members together. But over the years, we've done a ton of different cars. When I joined the club, they were just finishing up a release of a complete work train.
I was just looking there. I see Tim Stump said that he thought it was close to 3,000 members at one time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it dropped down when people could no longer buy directly from LGB with a discount, with a BTO discount. A lot of people kind of dropped by the wayside.
Okay.
They were a member of the club. It was a small expense to be part of the club, and yet you got a tremendous discount if you were buying LGB equipment. So there was a great incentive for that. And once that incentive went away, now you end up with what I'll call the hardcore modelers that don't really, they care where their stuff comes from, but they really care more about the hobby, about the enjoyment, about the fellowship.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So,
it just like with the East Coast show we were just at. Of course, I ended up buying stuff, but
naturally,
I never come with the intention or the ideal of I need to buy something. I come to see the people and just I went to dinner with a couple different people each night. I don't see all the time. I enjoy the social interaction from it. We even Sean and I got to meet Oliver Joe that flew over from Germany to come to the show. Very, very, very nice guy.
Yeah.
By the way, it was wonderful getting to meet him.
Well, I'll make this statement, Andrew. I think I told you this earlier today, actually. Maybe it was somebody. The way I look at it is most of the club members that I have met, in fact, all the ones that I've met are basically family oriented. They love their trains. They're extremely social and honest with their relationships with people. One of the suppliers at the East Coast show at one time didn't know me from Adam. I didn't have enough money that particular day to buy what was there. I said, I'll have it tomorrow. He said, well, take it with you. Bring me the money tomorrow. I brought the money back and I thanked him. And he said he'd been in this business for X number of years. And he says, I've never been stiffed. He said, the people in this hobby are fantastically honest. And that's what I feel when I'm with these people. They're people that I want to be with. They're people that I can trust. I could give them money and know that it's not going to be wasted. It's a fantastic experience. I just don't know how else to say it. It's just the fellowship, the looking forward to meet with people, to have a good time, to go to dinner, as you said. The BTO has had a booth now at the East Coast show for the last several years, and primarily that booth is a meeting point. BTO members go buy stuff and they stick it under the table while they go buy some more.
Yeah. And I have to say, I'm kind of ashamed because, you guys have been at all the East Coast shows I've gone to.
And you haven't stopped before.
I haven't stopped. And I really don't have any good reason for it. Other than I just, I don't know. I wish I would have. I feel like I've been missing out on a wonderful experience for multiple years.
I can guarantee you've missed out on a wonderful experience, and that's why we went to these. We tried to set a booth up and invite people in, and we tried to make it easy for registering as both a member and to go to the various conventions from there.
That's a wild looking convention car.
Yep. Actually, Tia had one on the table today that was some 1991.
Wow.
That had colorful, I think it was a German beer fest theme that year, but it was colorful like that.
Let's see. Oh, wow. The caboose for the next year even.
Yep.
You still with us, Sean?
Oh yeah.
All right. I can't see you at the moment because I'm flipping through the pictures here. I was just making sure you weren't sleeping on us. Although I would like to point out that, everybody's heard the Sean, Nico, and the jelly bean story. I think Nico said something about he was working on a car that's going to shoot jelly beans at Sean next time. So if you go to a show one day and you see Sean, bear crawling across the floor as jelly beans are bouncing off the wall, you know what happened.
Little bobber caboose there.
Yeah, very nice. And by the way, I think Sean put it in the chat. It's bigtrainoperator.com. If you want to go there, I mean, they've, as you can see to the left, I mean, they got, obviously I can't go through all of this stuff, but I mean, they got pictures of all their conventions, their club cars. A lot of times, clubs have all this info, but they don't have it readily available for everybody to look at. And it's nice to see you guys have it cataloged and up there.
We lost our webmaster first year I was president 3 years ago now. And we didn't know it. We were in a board meeting and wondering where Lou was and and he had passed away before the board meeting had happened. And suddenly we had a web page out there and nobody monitoring it. And John Grote, who's not only is our treasurer, he's now our webmaster. And he has stepped up and he has revised the web page. We're doing everything we can to bring it up to date. Tia has given to John a lot of pictures from conventions that there were no pictures for. And John's been putting those on the website.
Did you see John's comment there, Sean? I know what John was saying. What would it be neat for the train races to consider doing a race with the fan-driven cars? I think I know what he's talking about. LGB makes the ones that actually they're just ball-bearing wheels and it's a fan that propels them. Have you seen those? I think like the one's got like Snoopy on it and that.
I didn't realize that's what drove those trains. I've seen them, but I didn't realize they were.
I never realized they were driven by that either until I was at the tour for the Cincinnati Garden Railway Society. And there was one of them flying around the layout a million miles an hour, and it kept catching up to the train I was running behind. And the guy just kept kind of putting his hand out there and holding it. And I'm like, oh, that's going to ruin the gears in it. And he's like, no, there's no gears. It's just free rolling. It's just the fan that moves it along.
Huh.
Yeah, you learn something new every day, right?
I'll have to ask how many in the club might have one of those that we could have a race like that.
But,
Now that was the Hershey was the first convention that I went to with my wife.
So over the years, would you say you had a fairly even mix of different manufacturers on the convention cars, or I've seen Heartland here, I've seen LGB.
At this stage of the game, since I've been a member of the club now, it's been primarily Heartland and USA Trains.
Now, who made that car? That wasn't a Heartland car, was it?
Which year was it?
That is 2010 Atlantic City.
That was just before I joined, and that might be a Pico car. Because Pico has provided some custom runs for us.
Oh wow! You even did a PCC trolley.
Yep.
Wow. Now that is something I wasn't expecting to see.
So we are a universal club in that we try to support all portions of the hobby: trolleys, trains, diesels, steam, work trains, passenger trains.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a real variety in what you've done for the club cars and that each year.
We did a few years back. We did a car carrier. We had 2 car carriers that made up the set, and you could buy a third one at the show, and they all came. I think they had Mustangs in them.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Here's 2 car. This was what 2015. You did 2 different ones. You did looks like what a black and a blue one.
That's the car. I think that's the car carrier ones, and they came with. They didn't have the cars in there, but they came with cars.
Very nice.
3 cars on top and 3 cars on the bottom, and that was a set. And then you could buy a third one at the show, and that again is a set there.
Now, 2021 there was nothing for that, right? Okay, that's what I thought. I was trying to remember. My brain's a bit foggy right now.
2021 we had to cancel the convention.
Yeah.
No, 2021 that was the Cleveland convention. It's to 2020 that we didn't have a convention.
Okay. What am I looking at here? That this photo, this says 2020 BTOC Convention St. Louis.
That's the one that got canceled.
Okay, so you still had the cars for it then.
Oh, we had already printed them.
Okay. That would make sense.
We already had them. And now the goodie bag car this year was the 2020 goodie bag car, which we then reprinted for the 2022. And now that we're not going to St. Louis, we're going to Mystic. Now that car has it has a decal on it now that says Mystic Convention 2022. So that car's gone around the.
I didn't until you said about the goodie bag car. I'm like, hey, look, you have photos for goodie bag cars.
Yep.
Wow. You guys do, like I said, I don't think I've seen this many different type of club cars and different things done before. That's pretty wild.
USA Trains, I think 3 years ago, it would have been 2018, I think.
Looks like somebody in the chat's looking for the PCC troll.
They did a propane car, and you bought a car. You could buy a car at the convention, and anybody who signed up for the USA Trains factory tour got any registered member. They got a third car.
Oh, wow.
And Charles Rose Sr. actually autographed the boxes that those cars came in.
Oh, wow. Did you know that, Sean?
No, I didn't.
In fact, that's the convention that made my wife tell me, why am I not a member? She said, I would have liked to have a car that Charles Rose had signed. And so now I'm a member and my wife is a member.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's the other thing that I tell people. This is not a hobby just for men. Our club members are filled with men and women. We have a couple that we spent the last 2 days with at the show that she kind of got into the hobby because her husband was in the hobby. My wife got following trains because I was in the hobby and I was looking to get her to join me to come to meetings. So when they had club picnics, she knew some of the people. It wasn't a cold event. Yeah. Now my wife is a member. She has a large military train that we run at various events when we can, like at the county fair type of thing. She has all of those egg liners. They're hers. The couple we were with talking to today, she got into it for the same reason my wife did. Her husband was in it. Now, we've known this couple for a few years now. I've seen Rick buy things, but I've seen her buy 3 times as much as him. and the comment has been made that it's kind of shifted, where when they joined the club, he was the major person and she was the minor person. And now she's the major person and he's the minor person. They have a retirement home, and she informed us that her front room is not a front room to sit in unless you want to watch the train she has permanently installed on her front room floor.
Wow.
So this is a hobby that you never know who's going to be involved in it and how deep they are. And to me, to have your wife involved, or to have my club back home has a woman whose husband's passed away, but she still is a member and comes to the open houses and knows the people that in the club, Um, so the BTO is just a larger group of that, where it's men and women that are involved. I kind of said, we have the wine and cheese for the women, and the men are in the bar telling tall stories. That's not to meant that, okay, we're trying to pacify the wives. We just know from past experience that the women enjoyed wine and cheese get together more than the men did. And I think the men enjoy the bar more than the women do. So we have something that kind of caters to both sides of the membership, the men side and the women's side. And that's what we try to do, is to attract everybody.
So real quick, because I know we're getting closer to 10 here. I want to let people know real quick that I'm going to put the thing up here for our the Reindeer Pass gift card. It's for $20. And I wanted to mention that this was actually donated back by one of our viewers a couple shows ago. Dunbar was one of the winners, and he told Vernon he'd like to donate it back and pay it forward. So he donated it back so that we could do another giveaway with it. So if I click on the right thing here.
Hold on, don't do it yet.
Don't do it yet?
No, wait one more minute before we do this giveaway, because I want to talk about the East Coast Large Scale Train Show before we do the giveaway. So Andrew had talked to Dan at Star Hobby. There seems to be rumors circulating around about.
I talked to Don. I talked to both of them, but Don is the one I talked to specifically.
Yeah, so there seems to be rumors floating around about the East Coast Large Scale Train Show, and I'll let Andrew explain that to everybody.
So you may or may not have heard rumors that the East Coast show was going to move or be merged in with another show. And that's all it was some rumors. There was some talk about it. I think it was with the Amherst show.
Yeah.
That some people had speculated around, but before I left the East Coast show today, I talked to Don, and he told me, without any doubt, that's all those are rumors, that they have no intention of, merging the show in with another one or anything. They intend to keep the show and keep doing it. They want to see the show grow and keep going as it is the East Coast Large Scale Train Show. So if you heard anything, how's that saying go? If it's on the internet, it must be true. I don't know. That might contradict me because we're on the internet right now. But, so now that I just twisted my mind, but no, I did. I talked to Don, and Don wanted to assure me that the show's not going anywhere. They're going to keep doing it. And also, Sean and I wanted to say thank you to everybody that. Although we had audio issues, thanks for everyone that tuned into our pop-up live stream we did yesterday as we walked around for an hour and 40 minutes, it seemed like, or it was, and we toured the show. There was actually quite a few people that came out today, or people that called, and a lot of the vendors in that were actually very happy about that. They had multiple people saying either, they didn't know the show was going on, or, they happened to see something, they didn't go and they saw something they really wanted. So they ran down. So, thank you everybody for helping make the show a little bit better. Was there anything you needed to add, Sean, on any of that?
No, I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
the rumor got squashed. That's all, and that's what Don had wanted from Store Hobby.
Yeah. So, and if you want to, there it went.
There it went.
Before you get
Yeah.
into your giveaway here
Yeah.
and all, and get towards the end of your part, I'd like to thank you and Sean very much for the opportunity to share the BTO story and actually share my love of trains, because we went into a lot more than the BTO. So thank you for this opportunity. It's been a fantastic experience.
Oh, thank you very much. Like I said, I wish I would have joined sooner.
Well, you've joined now, so we look forward to your participation.
So, with that said, let's see here. So,
And Dan and Don do want to expand on the show, by the way. So they're talking about perhaps going into a bigger building.
so I have the that up there, and remember, as before, the capitalization doesn't matter, but it has to be all together one word. So if you enter in hashtag Reindeer Pass, and we'll let that run here for. Let's see. Has anybody entered it in yet, Sean?
Not yet. I don't think. Oh, you already put it in. All right. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to enter to win this gift card, you got to enter hashtag Reindeer Pass, all one word. Hashtag Reindeer Pass. Go ahead and start entering now for your chance to win this cool gift card, the Reindeer Pass, and it's for anything in the store. Vernon will honor it for anything you want to put, any purchase you want to put towards in the store.
There we go. Now I see people entering. I thought they were pulling a Dakman and falling asleep on us. And also remember, you can put in the hashtag Reindeer Pass 20 times. It's still only going to enter you one time.
Right.
Although I'm sure John will put it in 50 just to have fun.
And Dominic Milletta says he's also joining the BTO. So you've gotten 3 or 4
Wow.
people already off the chat joining the club.
I feel in danger now. I see Taya entered, and if she doesn't win now, I'm in her room.
Yeah, we may be in trouble. So
We didn't think this through.
no, and she can be vengeful.
Well, hopefully she doesn't get robbed like Nico does.
And as that's going there, thank you to everybody too that came up and said hello to Sean and I during the show the past 2 days. It was nice meeting and talking to a bunch of different people. I'm still a little bit, when someone I've never seen before in my life walks up to me and looks at me as they know me, I'm just, if I look like I'm wondering if you're crazy, it just hasn't registered with my brain that there's people that know what I look like and I don't know what they look like. I don't have, at least, well, yeah, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say, I don't have a camera watching you as you're watching us. That'd just be kind of creepy. It's bad enough Sean and I have to watch each other while we do the show.
Well, Larry Otis typed in hashtag John Simkovich.
Well, for hashtag John Sinkovich, John will call you up and play the song of your choice on his organ.
Wow.
Which I would like to say, since I said that, John plays the organ very, very well, and I know he does some live streams on and off where he'll do requests. Hashtag John. Well, now we're getting all kinds of hashtag Johns. Uh-oh, John, you're going to have to be doing requests.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, no. Lawrence Otis, no Speedos.
Yeah, no.
So let's see here. Are we getting anybody else putting anything in there?
Looks like it slowed down.
I see a Mark Bartel in here.
That's my brother.
That's your brother.
Yes.
Ah,
He ordered some stuff from Star Hobbies. So I called him tonight and I said, Mark, I have a small problem and bad news for you. I bought so much at the show, I didn't have room for your order, so it's going to have to be shipped. He called me back a little later and said, I know you've got it, because he called Star Harbor to see if I picked it up. He hadn't returned it.
yeah. No, Nico, John. I think. Well,
he said that because Kyle typed hashtag Nico robbed.
oh, Nico might be sleeping because I think as John calls him, Mr. President might be driving. What's the echo? Yeah, the echo just picked up recently. Are we hearing it now?
I haven't heard an echo the whole entire time we were talking.
I was actually hearing it coming back on my end when we were talking.
Okay.
Now we will hear from Nico. I got it. Now it says Nico Rob. All right. So since I'm not seeing anything else in here, let me share this up so that everybody can not see Nico get robbed because he didn't enter, so he can't profess that he was robbed this time. Let's see here. Giveaway. All right. There we have it. So, no carry, no hashtag free road railers.
Free
and actually, before I hit the drawing on it, let me pull that off the screen so I don't forget. And people start trying to enter again. So let's see who's going to be the winner of the $20 Reindeer Pass Railroad gift card. Chris Vale is our winner. So in the description of the video, there should be an email in there. I believe it was Vernon at reindeerpassrailroad.com, if I'm not mistaken, Sean.
Yes.
If you send Vernon an email with your info, he will get you taken care of. I would recommend putting the $20 towards one of the nice RC excavators that he has, because that just looks like way too much fun to load rail cars with.
Well, you could have your trains going and then digging up like a ditch with your RC excavator.
Yeah. If you're Sean, you could use it to load jelly beans in your hopper cars.
Oh yeah, there you go. Well,
I like that one.
Yeah.
Easter is coming, so
this is true.
Yeah.
Or maybe Skittles.
I like Skittles too.
I love Skittles. Load them into the hopper.
I haven't had Skittles in a long time, and I want you to know now when I'm done, I want to go buy a thing of Skittles.
Sorry about that.
So, well, let's see. Did we have anything else we needed to cover, or?
I think we did pretty well tonight.
I don't have any info for anybody on our next guest at the very second. With going to the East Coast show, I just didn't have a chance yet, but keep your eyes on our website. We'll have the info for the next guest listed up here, by next weekend. And thank you again, Charles, for being a wonderful guest.
My pleasure. Yeah. I really enjoy it. I like to share just like you guys like to share it with what you're doing. I like to share it too, and you gave me a perfect opportunity. Wonderful. Maybe after the Mystic show and Tia takes some real good pictures, maybe we could do a follow-up and show people what they missed.
Absolutely.
I'd love to do that, and I'm sure we get Tia to support that.
Yeah, I can probably be a little bit more organized. I can be sitting at my desk. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and as always, we'll see you again in 2 weeks with another great show. If you never see me again, it's either Tia or my wife, just so you know. It could be both. I don't know. They could both be suspects. I'm just kidding. Making sure
As
she's
he
not coming
checks
in
the door to make sure it's still closed.
All right. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. And
So everybody,
we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
goodbye.
Good night.